What's going on, folks? Zach from Uchu Shelf here. Hope you guys are doing good and reading lots of manga. Tis the season. Tis the season to be giving and receiving and to be jolly. And with 2022 wrapping up and the holiday season sadly coming to an end, I thought I'd jump in front of the camera and share with you guys what I got this holiday season through the month of December. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up on the manga haul, we've got Blood on the Tracks, Volume 10 by Shuzo Oshimi. Now, if you remember in my last manga haul, if you watched it, if not, link in the description below, picked up some pretty cool stuff. Maybe you'd be interested. I was waiting on this for months. I ordered this in October. I had this actually pre-ordered on Amazon well before that. And then I reordered it because Amazon inexplicably canceled my order. And then I ordered it through one other place. The guy just refused to sell it to me. I ordered it on finally 8 books. It got lost in the post. And then I finally found this somewhere else. So this was the 4th copy I ordered. And it finally came. And it's going to sit on the shelf and not be read because I am a few volumes behind. Now, in the spirit of Volume 10s, I also got Volume 10 of Gigant by Hiroya Oku, the science fiction master himself, creator of Gantz, creator of Inuyashiki, creator of a few other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. This is his latest work, other than Gantz E, which is not great, honestly. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about Gigant, I will leave a link to a review I did down in the description below. It was a first impression. Admittedly, really liked it. It's a little out there in terms of concept, as most Hiroya Oku manga is. It follows a porn star and a high schooler who wants to be a filmmaker, and they kind of strike up a relationship because she lives in his neighborhood, and it's kind of weird. It's really hard to explain without it sounding kind of creepy. She eventually gets the ability to grow big, and, well, just put it this way. If you know Hiroya Oku, you know what's coming. If you don't, there's a lot of boobs in this. There's a lot of very big boobs in this, and I don't just mean like big old honkin' boobs. I mean, this woman grows skyscraper size. This is a fetish manga. When you get really into it, it's a science fiction fetish manga, and that's perfectly fine. Speaking of Hiroya Oku, I got volumes 1 through 4 of Inuyashiki, a manga that I only own in digital thanks to the Humble Bundle from Kodansha, but something I wanted to own in physical. I wanted to start kind of building out more of my collection, things that, instead of just buying new stuff that's coming out and just keeping up with my kind of ongoing series, buy stuff that I've always wanted, buy stuff that I not need, but need. I probably will do a review of Inuyashiki one of these days. To give you a Cliff Notes version, a One Piece fan and an Astro Boy fan are killed by aliens and then become robots and fight all the time. That's really the most succinct way I can put it. It had an anime adaptation by Mappa back in Mappa's heyday. You should definitely check it out. It was directed by the guy who did Gantz. Just a fantastic anime. Wraps up the entire series in like 11, 12 episodes. Just, wow, chef's kiss, it's perfect. Next up, we have volume 1 of Dandadan. Yeah. Come on, I can pronounce dead demons. Destruction. I can do Dandadan. For fuck's sakes. Dandadan by Yukinobi Tatsu, who was an assistant to Tatsuki Fujimoto. No, this manga is absolutely off the fucking walls. It's got ghosts, it's got aliens, it's got old women who take your penis, it's got train crab battles. This thing is fucking off the wall. It's really good too. Like, it's not just off the wall for the sake of it. It's like a very good story about kind of the occult and kind of weird, mysterious things like that. I without a doubt, know in my heart that if and when this gets an anime, it's going to be like as big as Chainsaw Man. I can't imagine any other studio than Mappa doing it, because Mappa, I don't know, they just do everything nowadays, right? So why wouldn't they do this? Now, I am kind of breaking a rule with this one. I told myself I wasn't going to buy physical copies of Shonen Jump manga anymore because I either sell them because I just get bored with them, or I don't read them and they sit on my shelf. But I really like this one. I really wanted to collect this one. I'm not going to say the name anymore because obviously I can't say it. Next up, we got Omnibus 3, volumes 5 and 6 of Tokyo Revengers by Ken Mukui, a manga that is awesome, a manga that I rallied for years, months, to get a physical release. Finally did, and oh man, the releases are just great. The covers have just this great texture, the quality of the paper, the colored pages, just, I don't know, everything about it. It's really good. I heard it didn't end too good though, so I'm not looking forward to that. Next up, we got Omnibuses 1 and 2 of Isuki Tanaka's Summertime Rendering, a manga that I had been putting off for years, and then finally, when I got around to reading it, wanted to read it on the Manga Plus app, and it was taken off, so had to buy the physicals. I wanted the hardcover editions because Udon always puts out really good quality manga, and I've never really had a problem with anything they put out. And then I guess there was some supply chain issues, or there's some other delays, and I just thought, well, if I don't get these now, knowing how English manga goes, it'll probably be out of print like immediately, or I'd have to wait and buy it secondhand. Read through the first one pretty much immediately. Had a few qualms here and there, like there was kind of some unnecessary panels of young girls, which were rightfully censored. And I don't know. It's and I love manga with like time loops. I love Erased. I love Tokyo Revengers and other stuff. But there's something about this one. I don't know. It's kind of nagging at me, and I'm sure it'll get resolved in later volumes. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. That it's kind of like not immediately clicking with me. It's still good. It's a great manga. The art is great, but it's not quite there for me yet. So I'm gonna get through volume 2 or Omnibus 2, kind of see how it sits, and then see if I continue with that. It's good, don't get me wrong, it's not as great as everybody's making it out to be. I do want to do a review on it eventually, so I'm going to leave my thoughts on that for later. Next up, we have Volume 1 and 2, the complete collection of Eldo Yoshimizu's Ryuko. This is a manga I know absolutely nothing about, but I know people like Flip Otaku, and there's other people in kind of the Gekika sphere who constantly recommend this, have told me that I gotta read it. And I never have, and I follow Eldo Yoshimizu on Twitter, and I love his art, never read anything by him, and that's my own fault because I'm lazy. And I saw this kind of on a whim. I was out buying Christmas presents and bought myself a Christmas present. I have 2 Uchu Shelf from Uchu Shelf. Now, I haven't read this yet. I want to go into it completely blind because I've seen panels of it on Twitter and Instagram and throughout social media. It looks absolutely fantastic. I love Eldo Yoshimizu's art, and I just kind of love stories you find in Gekika and alternative manga are so vast and different to what you see in kind of mainstream manga. And I know I'm going to love it. I just want to be able to, if I sit down and read it and have to stop with volume 1, I'm going to be pissed off. Okay? I'm going to have to read it all in one sitting, so I'm saving it for a good rainy day. And then finally, last thing I can show you on this manga haul is something I'm very excited about for a number of reasons. It's by my favorite mangaka, and it's going to open up a lot of new doors in terms of creating content here on the channel, I think. As a lot of you know, if you are still sticking with me, thank you, by the way, if you are. 2022 was a very light year for videos here on Uchu Shelf for a number of reasons. I had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. I bought a house, I moved, a lot of other stuff. You follow me on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. I not only didn't have time to make videos, I wasn't reading I didn't have time to read a lot of manga, and I didn't want to just kind of wing my way through it or just read stuff for the sake of making videos. And I had other creative projects I was working on, which I'll talk about later eventually if those ever get finished. And I put Uchu Shelf on the back burner, mostly because I was burnt out. I was making videos that I wasn't entirely in love with, videos that I wasn't entirely proud of, just kind of making stuff to put out there. So robots that crawl meta tags decide that my videos are worth showing people, and it kind of got to the point where it was like a second job and I wasn't making any money off of it. So I started to kind of revisit Uchu Shelf the last couple months from the point of view of what I originally started Uchu Shelf to be. You know, I wanted to introduce people to new and interesting manga. I wanted to share what I was buying and what I was reading, and most of all, it's supposed to be fun. Like, this is a hobby, this isn't a job. And I was looking at it the wrong way. So I'm kind of reeling back and looking at, creating videos the way I want to now, again. And if it's less views, it's less views. At least I know what I'm making is going to be somewhat, I hope at least, somewhat interesting. So I've already rambled on. I am going to make another video about it entirely because it's a whole topic I want to touch on about what's coming next year. But what I want to show you now is volumes 1 through 7, number 8's in the mail, of Taiyo Matsumoto's Takemitsu Samurai, the French edition's Le Samurai Bamboo. Something I'm so fucking excited about this. You guys have absolutely no idea. So, a lot of you know that I live in the UK, but I'm from Canada, and when you live in Canada, learning French is compulsory. And while I maybe remember half of what I've learned, I am sort of relearning French again. I have been relearning French on and off for the better part of the last 6 months, specifically because me and Ellie are going to go to France this year, and I wanted to be able to walk around and go places without being that typical English guy who's just like, bonjour, parle anglais. Like, I want to be able to go and have conversations with people and order food without looking like a dick. So I figured the best way to do that is to buy a bunch of French manga, make myself spend a bunch of money, and then guilt myself into learning a language. That's kind of the gist of it. So I ordered this partially because I've always wanted Takemitsu Samurai. It's one of the few Taiyo Matsumoto manga that I don't own, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, I have no faith that this is ever going to come out in English. But because I am somewhat well known in my family for being ridiculously impossible to buy for, my parents figured to just send me some money so I can buy myself whatever, and I bought myself the entirety of Takamitsu Samurai, or the Samurai Bamboo. Anyways, folks, that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. If you saw something you like, let me know down in the comments below, or hit me up on social media, Twitter and Instagram, at UchuShelf. And if you want to stay up to date on what I'm reading, what I'm buying, and manga that you should be reading and buying, right down below. I'm definitely wearing pants, by the way. You shouldn't be concerned with that. I am wearing pants. I do have to put an emphasis on that. But right below where I'm sitting there's a whole bunch of buttons. There's the share button, there's a like button, there's a red button that says subscribe. You should definitely click that. That should already be gray, realistically speaking. But if it's red for some reason, click it. And then when you click it, there's a little bell beside it that you should also be clicking. So you get like a little push notification when you're on your phone playing Angry Birds and taking a shit, or whatever people do on their phones nowadays. But until next time, folks, happy reading. Outro. This is an outro. Yeah. You're free to go now. Seriously, leave. I mean, why are you sitting here, man? Get out of here, man. Go. Come on. Leave. Goodbye.